Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're going to literally crack open the writer's toolbox to see exactly how poets and songwriters manipulate sound and sight to hook our brains. Whether you're reading a classic poem or just jamming to a modern hit, there is a hidden architecture behind the words dictating how you experience them. And right now, we're going to decode that exact architecture.
We're moving through 5 quick stages today: mastering the end rhyme, unlocking internal rhymes, the subtlety of slant rhymes, the illusion of I rhymes, and finally, the ultimate rhyme challenge.
All right, Section 1. Mastering the end rhyme, the foundational rhythm of verse. When most of us hear the word rhyme, this is the exact mechanic our brains immediately jump to. It's exactly what it sounds like, occurring when the final words of consecutive lines match up phonetically. This is that incredibly reliable tool you hear in nearly every single pop song on the radio, smoothly guiding your ear to a predictable and satisfying conclusion at the end of a musical phrase.
Think about the classic line, "The cat sat on the mat while wearing a funny hat." You can literally hear how mat and hat sit right at the tail end of the phrasing. The sound pattern doesn't interrupt the thought, it just patiently waits at the very end of the line to give you that super clean, matching finish. So why do writers rely on this so heavily? Well, it's all about the brain. It creates an undeniable rhythm and musicality. That matching sound wraps the sentence up with a neat little bow, giving the listener a deeply satisfying sense of completion. And, practically speaking, it physically helps our brains memorize the lyrics. It's the exact reason nursery rhymes stick with us for decades.
Let's test your ear real quick. Looking at these options, which pair creates that perfect, predictable end rhyme? If you guessed moon and spoon, you absolutely nailed it. The ending sounds perfectly aligned to create that textbook phonetic match.
Moving on to Section 2, unlocking internal rhymes, moving the beat inside the line.
This happens when writers decide, you know what, I don't want to wait until the end of the line for that rhythmic payoff. Instead, the rhyme hits you early. It pops up right there within the same line, or maybe tucked into the middle of different lines. By pulling the rhyme inside the phrase, the writer completely shifts the momentum. It surprises your ear and instantly speeds up the reading rhythm.
Listen to this. I heard a bell and all was well. Notice how bell and well are sitting practically shoulder to shoulder. They don't span across line breaks. Because they're packed in so tightly, your ear is immediately drawn to them, and it creates this great little bouncing cadence right in the middle of the thought. Writers absolutely love this trick because it creates a highly concentrated musical effect. Think about your favorite fast-paced rap verses, where the lyrics literally seem to tumble over one another. It dramatically ramps up the tempo and forces you to pay close attention to the specific words riding that internal bounce.
Okay, Section 3, the subtlety of slant rhymes. Close, but not quite. Perfect matches are great and all, but sometimes writers want something a bit more grounded. You might hear this called a near rhyme or a half rhyme. This is where things get deliberately a bit off kilter. The words don't perfectly rhyme, but they sound close enough to create a connection. The writer is basically blending sounds that live in the same neighborhood, but completely refuses to give you the exact matching pair.
When you compare them directly, the contrast is super stark. With a perfect rhyme like cat and hat, the match is absolute. But look at the slant rhymes. Shape and keep share just enough vowel and consonant flavor to connect, while entirely abandoning the rigid exactness of a perfect rhyme. Same deal with moon and on. They share a subtle sound profile, but they definitely don't perfectly resolve.
Honestly, this is the ultimate tool for flexibility. If a writer only uses perfect rhymes, things can start sounding a bit sing-songy, like a predictable nursery rhyme. Slant rhyme creates a much subtler sound pattern. It frees the writer to choose words based on their actual meaning, rather than just their sound, which makes the spoken verse feel incredibly conversational, modern, and natural.
Time for another quick game. Which of these 4 pairs are bending the rules of sound to create a slant rhyme? Let's check them. Number 1, perfect. Number 3, perfect. But numbers 2 and 4, shape and keep, and worm and swarm, those are your slant rhymes. Just similar enough to connect, but decidedly not identical.
Section 4. The illusion of I rhymes, when your eyes deceive your ears.
Now we are entering the territory of total betrayal. We're stepping away from the ear entirely and focusing strictly on the page. This is the trickster of the poetry world, relying on absolute visual deception. On the printed page, these words trick your brain before you even say them out loud. They look like they're destined to be a perfect rhyme based on their spelling, but the second you pronounce them, the illusion shatters.
Take a really close look at love and move. Visually, perfect twins on the page. They share that identical ending spelling of OVE. Your brain sees them hanging at the ends of lines and immediately anticipates a perfect sonic match. But say them out loud, love and move, and they entirely deny you the sonic payoff you were expecting. The phonetic pronunciations are completely different.
So why would a writer do this to us? Mostly it's about the visual experience of reading. They use this visual trickery to create appeal right on the page. It adds a delightfully frustrating layer of complexity to the structure of the poem. It's basically a way to surprise the reader, playing this clever little game between what the eye expects to see and what the ear actually hears.
Let's test your eyes instead of your ears for this one. Which of these pairs looks like a perfect rhyme on paper, but sounds completely different when spoken? Bright and night sound exactly how they look. Same with bake and cake and tree and free. But check out C, cough and bow. They share that exact O-U-G-H spelling, but cough and bow literally couldn't sound more different. That is a flawless eye rhyme.
Finally, Section 5, the Ultimate Rhyme Challenge, putting it all together.
We've covered the whole toolkit today, from the predictable line endings to the visual deceptions on the page. Let's do a quick masterclass review with this grid to see exactly how the rhythm shifts. We start with the obvious, perfect conclusion of sky and by for an end rhyme. Then we speed things up by dropping bell and well onto the exact same line for an internal rhyme. Next, we bend the rules with the near match of moon and on for a slant rhyme. And finally, we completely deceive the reader with the visual-only pairing of love and move for the I rhyme.
As you walk away from this explainer today, I want to leave you with a bit of a challenge. The next time you listen to your favorite song, don't just mindlessly nod to the beat. Listen to the architecture. Will you be able to spot the subtle genius of a slant or I rhyme hiding in plain sight? Because trust me, the mechanics are everywhere. You just have to know how to listen.